and winding paths of the digital world. This is your digital compass, a magical tool meant to help you choose the smartest, kindest, and safest way online. Once upon a time, there was a curious fox named Finn. One sunny morning, Finn found a sparkling sign on the forest net, inviting him to a party thrown by a mysterious owl. All he needed to do was share his home address. Finn remembered, when someone online asks for personal secrets, like your address or your real name, your digital compass says, "Wait, keep your treasures safe." Finn kept his secret, and soon his friends cheered him on, proud of how wisely he listened to his compass. Far away in the lovely meadow of messages, a clever rabbit named Ruby received a note that sounded a little too good to be true. It promised her a mountain of carrots if she clicked a mysterious link. Her digital compass whispered, "Pause and check. Some paths aren't safe to hop along." Ruby asked a grown-up to help, and together, they spotted the trick and stayed far away from harm. In the enchanted town of Tweets, a gentle bear named Ben loved sharing stories with his friends. Sometimes, though, he heard mean words buzzing by as sharp as thorns. When this happened, Ben's digital compass reminded him, "Your words can plant kindness, not hurt. And if someone upsets you online, you can always talk to someone you trust." With every click and every new adventure, the digital compass guides Finn, Ruby, Ben, and you, reminding us that we each have the power to make good choices online. Remember, trust your digital compass, and the digital world will always feel a little bit brighter, safer, and filled with kindness.
Before these classic bedtime stories were merely meant to put children to sleep, they were originally designed to keep them alive. Early societies lived on the edge of immediate physical peril. A child wandering too far from the village faced freezing weather, prowling wolves, and dangerous strangers waiting in the deep woods. To prevent those tragedies, cultures codified these harsh realities into stories. Collections like Grimm's Fairytales served as the original survival manuals, blunt warnings bound in paper. Today, the physical perimeter around our homes is largely secure, but modern children are wandering into a totally different landscape, one that is infinitely larger, borderless, and vastly more complex: the internet. The setting has shifted from physical timber to digital networks, yet the core dynamic, a naive child wandering into an unknown space filled with unseen hazards, is exactly the same. There is, however, one terrifying difference between a medieval forest and the modern web. In the digital world, the threats are entirely invisible. Malware, phishing schemes, and aggressive data harvesting don't growl. They lack the sharp teeth or claws necessary to trigger a natural flinch response. This creates what developmental psychologists call a cognitive gap. A 7-year-old brain is still learning how physical objects interact. It literally lacks the neurological development required to process the abstract architecture of computer networks. Because they cannot grasp the underlying mechanics of how data moves, warnings about technical exploits simply bounce off. This leaves them completely exposed to online manipulation and false promises. Standard cybersecurity guides for kids often fail here. They waste time trying to explain the complex mechanics of the trap, rather than teaching the child to recognize the presence of danger itself. This is the problem the digital compass attempts to solve. Rather than functioning as a technical textbook, it acts as a deliberate return to our oldest form of educational technology, the cautionary tale. The book works pedagogically as a translation engine. It takes invisible, abstract cyber threats and converts them into concrete, identifiable monsters. By placing a modern, digital age protagonist directly into these enchanted scenarios, the authors give the child reader a clear, relatable proxy. Wrapping complex technology in the familiar rhythm of ancient folklore instantly bridges that cognitive gap. It bypasses the need for technical jargon entirely. Mapping digital safety onto classic storytelling arcs allows children to apply their innate suspicion of strangers and traps to a world made of light and code. Look at how it handles one of the most common technical hazards, the deceptive phishing link. To a child, a malicious URL doesn't look dangerous. It looks benign, often promising a free game or a prize, so natural danger responses stay dormant. To solve this, the digital compass pits its hero against a deceptive forest spirit who tries to lure them in by offering a poisoned apple. This metaphor gives the child a concrete reason to hesitate. When they see a suspicious link, they no longer focus on the promised reward. They begin to search for the hidden poison or the spirit behind the screen. This specific narrative framing implants a foundational law of the internet. It teaches them that extreme attractiveness and ease on a screen are frequently masks for malicious intent. Beyond evading traps, true safety requires the hero to move from passive avoidance to active defense. The digital compass solves this user friction by rebranding these necessary configurations. In the story, privacy settings become protective spells that the protagonist must deliberately cast. Instead of following a sterile checklist, casting spells to hide from digital shadows turns technical compliance into an engaging narrative quest for wisdom. By embedding security protocols inside the plot, the book provides intrinsic motivation. Children actively want to build their own digital armor, rather than passively waiting for a parent to lock down their device. We face an undeniable reality. We cannot permanently wall off the enchanted web, and we cannot ban children from entering it. Simply handing them a rigid list of technical rules to memorize is guaranteed to fail without a broader contextual framework. A rules-only approach is brittle. The moment the technology updates, those specific rules become obsolete, and the child inevitably loses their way to shadows and new exploits. But by giving them an internalized narrative like the digital compass, the dynamic flips. The child stops being a vulnerable user and transforms into a savvy, active protagonist in their own story. Hardware and software will constantly evolve, presenting hazards we haven't even named yet. To navigate that digital future, the most advanced tool we can give the next generation is the oldest technology we possess, a well-told story.